4,500 years ago, a civilization on the banks of the Nile built the largest stone monument the world had ever seen. Without iron tools. Without cranes. Without modern machinery. And with no surviving construction blueprints. They stacked more than 2.3 million stone blocks, some weighing several tons each, into a structure so precise that even today it continues to amaze engineers. The Great Pyramid of Giza remained the tallest man-made structure on Earth for nearly 3,800 years. So, how did they actually build it? How the Egyptians built the pyramids? Forget the myths. Let's start by clearing up two of the biggest myths. First, no. Aliens didn't build the pyramids. Everything archaeologists have discovered points to human engineering, careful planning, and decades of organized labor. The second myth is that the pyramids were built by slaves. While enslaved people certainly existed in ancient Egypt, the evidence suggests the pyramid builders were mostly skilled laborers and seasonal workers. Excavations near Giza uncovered entire workers' villages filled with bakeries, breweries, workshops, and living quarters. Archaeologists also found skeletons showing healed broken bones, proof that injured workers received medical care. Many were buried near the pyramids themselves, an honor that would have been unlikely for slaves. Most historians believe the workforce consisted of skilled craftsmen supported by farmers who worked during the annual Nile flood, when their fields were underwater. The workforce. Building the Great Pyramid required one of the largest construction projects in human history. Most estimates suggest around 20,000 to 30,000 workers were involved over roughly 20 years. Workers were organized into crews with names that have survived as graffiti inside the pyramid. Names like the Friends of Khufu and the Drunkards of Menkaure. These weren't random scribbles. They show workers had pride, identity, and friendly competition between teams. Keeping thousands of people alive required an enormous supply chain. Archaeologists have uncovered industrial bakeries and breweries capable of producing massive quantities of bread and beer every day. Beer wasn't simply a luxury. It was a safe source of calories and an everyday part of the Egyptian diet. Cutting the stone. Most of the pyramid was built from limestone quarried only a short distance away. The smooth white casing stones came from Tura across the Nile. Meanwhile, the huge granite blocks inside the king's chamber traveled nearly 800 kilometers from Aswan. For limestone, workers used copper chisels and stone hammers. Granite was much harder. Instead of cutting it directly, they pounded it with heavy dolerite stones before grinding it using sand as an abrasive. One clever technique involved driving dry wooden wedges into narrow grooves. When soaked with water, the wood expanded, helping split the rock along controlled lines. Simple. But remarkably effective. Moving millions of tons. Cutting the stone was only half the challenge. Moving it was another story. The average limestone block weighed around 2.5 tons. Some granite beams weighed more than 70 tons. So how were they transported? The answer appears surprisingly simple. Wooden sledges. And wet sand. In 2014, researchers from the University of Amsterdam demonstrated that slightly wet sand dramatically reduces friction, making it much easier to pull heavy loads. An ancient Egyptian tomb painting even shows a worker pouring water in front of a giant sledge. Sometimes. Ancient artwork really was an instruction manual. The granite blocks likely traveled down the Nile by boat before being hauled to the construction site. Exactly how the largest stones were positioned remains debated, but sledges, levers, and carefully prepared tracks were almost certainly part of the solution. How did they lift the blocks? This is where the debate begins. No complete construction ramp has ever been found at Giza. So archaeologists have proposed several possibilities. The first is a straight ramp leading up one side. Simple. But as the pyramid grew taller, the ramp would have needed to become incredibly long. The second idea is an external spiral ramp wrapping around the pyramid. This would require less material, but it would make surveying the corners much more difficult. The third proposal is an internal ramp hidden inside the pyramid itself. Architect Jean-Pierre Houdin suggested that workers may have built a spiral passage within the structure. Although modern scans have revealed previously unknown internal spaces, there is currently no definitive evidence confirming this internal ramp theory. Many Egyptologists believe the builders probably used a combination of methods as construction progressed. The truth may lie somewhere between all three ideas. Incredible precision. Perhaps the most astonishing achievement isn't the size. It's the accuracy. The Great Pyramid's base is level to within only a few centimeters. Its four sides are aligned almost perfectly with true north. How was that possible? The Egyptians likely relied on careful observation of the stars using instruments such as the Merkit. Water-filled trenches may have helped establish perfectly level foundations. Simple tools like plumb bobs and A-frame levels ensured every course remained straight. No lasers. No GPS. No computers. Just mathematics, careful planning, and relentless attention to detail. For centuries, people believed the pyramids were too extraordinary for ordinary humans. But archaeology tells a different story. The pyramids were built by engineers, stone cutters, surveyors, boat builders, craftsmen, and thousands of dedicated workers. They solved one problem after another using intelligence, organization, and persistence. The Great Pyramid isn't proof of lost civilizations. It is proof of what human beings can accomplish when knowledge, teamwork, and determination come together. And after 4,500 years, it still stands. If you enjoyed this documentary, leave a comment telling us which construction theory you find most convincing. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more fascinating stories from ancient history. Thanks for watching.